Welcome to Gold Derby. I'm senior editor Denton Davidson here with Jonna from the Challenge USA. She was the second eliminated from the competition on Sunday after losing to Tori in the arena. Jonna, I'm always rooting for you when you compete. You're truly
Oh,
a
thank
fan
you.
favorite, and you're a two-time champ. So what was it like to come back for this edition with all these CBS reality stars from Big Brother, Survivor, and
Oh
Race?
man, this game specifically, it was very difficult. So, right away walking into this, coming off my back-to-back wins, the target was so big. Like, not only was the target big because of the back-to-back wins, then they're like, "Hey guys, we're gonna make you ride up on jet skis." And then it was like, "Okay, Johnny, first round draft pick." I'm like, "Okay, great. Second time in a row." Like these people already are scared of me. And then they made us carry a statue of me up a mountain. I'm like, TJ, I really don't think that there's any way that you can make everybody hate us more. It's like you can't, there was no hiding behind anything. It was very clear that like the vets were the target. There was no way around
But that very first vote, Jonna, you were a little sneaky snake because you
it.
threw your anonymous vote to Michelle, your own
Mhm.
teammate, and
Yep.
she ended up going in and winning. And it looked
Mhm.
like she sort of figured it out that you were
Oh,
the
she
rogue
immediately
vote.
figured it out. Did you see that? Oh my gosh. Okay, so that was a mistake on my behalf. I wouldn't say it's a mistake that I regret. I probably should have waited like to episode 6. Like that's when I should have pulled that move. But with all the unknown factors that we have, right? When I put her name into the hopper, I had no idea that they were going to bring a jumbotron to elimination, and show who. Like they didn't show who voted for who. But when you're playing against survivors and Big Brother people, they come from a game where literally that's their entire game. All they do is count votes and who's voting for who and whatever. Michelle is so smart. She immediately was like, "Who on my team voted for me?" And I was standing there like, "How does she know, dude? Like, how? I thought this was a secret vote, guys. Like, how does she know it was me? Um, I know to the viewer and people watching, it doesn't really make sense, like, why I would vote my own teammate in. So, the reason why is so as soon as TJ tells us the rules, right? There's so many layers to this. My mind immediately starts spinning. I'm a strategic player in general. And so I immediately start thinking, okay, we have green team, red team, blue team. We have Survivor versus Big Brother versus Amazing Race versus MTV. We have 7 survivors, 8 Big Brother people. We also have these people in the middle that are like, hey, yeah, I'm from Big Brother, but also I've already done the challenge. So I was looking at it, standing back looking at it like there's so many connections, so many things happening, right? And I already knew my back was up against the wall with 18 people, their one common goal. They wanted the 6 of us out, right? I already knew it was going to be an uphill battle no matter what I did. So I was like, how can I use my vote to somehow help me in this game? So the reason why I did it was because that had it worked out and had Michelle gone home, it would have bettered my position in the game. And I know it doesn't make sense to the viewers, but it's basically I was playing chess. I was like 2, 3 steps ahead of where I should have been. I should have stayed in the moment, stayed present. When I put her name in the hopper, I didn't think that there was any way she was going to find out, obviously. But just based on the people I was starting to align with and based on like our strength, Michelle's strengths and my strengths and our skill set, she was the person that down the road would have been a roadblock for me. When it comes to a certain player and they're like, okay, who do I put in, Michelle or John A? She was higher up on certain people's, lists than me. So I knew that we were so similar that I had to get her out. And also too, Michelle is God love her. She's honestly one of my favorite people. She is, I know she comes across as like this emotional, whatever. She is literally the only survivor woman there that won her season. She is so smart. She's so strategic. I'm not used to, first of all, playing a game with that many strategic people. Okay. But she is so smart. And I just looked at it this way. Like I was aligning or starting to align with more Big Brother people. I knew that if in some way I could create a crack in the survivor people, that she was the one holding all the survivors together. Like she was the one like, okay, guys,
Yeah.
let's stay survivor strong. Let's take out these other people from the jump. I knew that about her. So Yeah, I took a risk in something, not knowing, obviously the outcome. It's like gambling, but had it worked out in my favor, I think it would have benefited me down the road. But you got to make it down the road.
Yeah. And she comes back, leads this charge against you. So the next challenge happens, and the next group figures it out. They're like, okay, we got to get some vets out. So they put Tori and Bananas down there. And then Michele leads a charge to get you the most votes. You had 5 going in. So sure enough, the hopper
Told you guys, Michelle's really smart.
Sure enough, the hopper spits your name out. And then what are you thinking heading down into the arena at that point?
So you mean after I already got picked?
Yeah.
Well, I was like, this isn't great. This isn't a great situation. Well, I'll just be honest, like obviously eliminations aren't my greatest thing in the game, especially physical ones. So right away, I knew that I was going against a beast, like a legend, if I look at a lineup of people of like, okay, if I got to pick my opponent, like literally Tori would be the last person I would pick to want to do balls in against. So I wasn't necessarily afraid. And in my head, I was like, I do have a shot. So yeah. I was just trying to be
fair, like you're a 2-time champion, and I think you would agree with me. You're strategic, the politics, you have endurance, and you're what they call a puzzle queen. You're not someone who wants to go down there and tackle people.
Yeah, no.
Like that's not the game you want to play.
Everybody in the house, they wanted to get Tori out. That was the thing, is everybody was like, how do we get Tori or any vet out of this game? I think most of the people were cheering for me, trying to help me out. And I just so happened to be in the fire of, because Amanda's team won, I was the only other female vet option, So yeah, I don't know.
You mentioned Wes was your number one. Why was he your number one? Like, how did that
so Wes is like, stop telling people that. No. So Wes is my number one. So Wes and I, my very first challenge season was supposed to be Fresh Meat 2. And I met him on the plane flying to go to Vancouver. I lost my passport along the way. But I have known Wes since 2010. So out of everybody, I've known him the longest. And not only that, but we won All Stars 3 together. And I feel like him and I are similar, but very different, and looking at all the people that were there, he was one of the only people that I knew and that I trusted. So that's why I would say he was my number one in the game. To be honest with you, like, ever since I had my daughter 7 years ago, I don't really like watch the challenge too closely. I don't know about, like, for instance, I didn't know Tori and Amanda didn't like each other. I didn't know that Josh and Polly and Bananas had any issues at all. Like everybody was like laughing when they were on a team. And I'm like, what's so funny, guys? Like I had no clue what was going on. All I knew, and sometimes people like talk beforehand and whatever. I will say legitimately, Wes was the only person that I knew that was coming to this, so.
When you look back at that All Stars 1, that was so much fun for fans, because all of these people that we knew from years prior were all coming back. And what was also so great about that season is it seemed like there were so many people that weren't ready. Like there were so many people out of shape. Like nobody could.
Yes.
So that was the best part of All Stars 1. What made you come back for All Stars 1?
Calling it the geriatric challenge.
Yes, I loved it. What made you What made you make that decision? Because then you went on to win the next 2. So how much has that changed your life? Like that was a
oh my gosh. Moment. I mean, look, it's changed my life so much. So the funny thing about All Stars 1 is I actually wasn't like on the table for All Stars 1. My Cancun roommate Jasmine was supposed to go. She got casted for that, and something happened last minute with her. She couldn't go. They literally called me like 2 weeks before, and they're like, "Hey," and I was like, "Is this the?" I knew the talent coordinator had her number saved. I'm like, "Why are they called? Like, what is happening?" I had no clue. Was not prepared. I was 7 months postpartum, still breastfeeding. Like, had no idea what was going on. And because it was COVID times, I was like, you know what, this is a good opportunity, to go and do this. Like, I may never have the chance again where my husband's not working, to be able to revisit the past. Nobody ever gets that chance, right? So I left All Stars 1 and I was like, I made the final. Like in all the years that I did the show before, I can never get there. And once I had a taste of the final, and once I knew that like this is all endurance, mind over matter, no sleep, no eating, like puzzle equalizers, I was like, this is where I shine, you know? And so once I figured out it was actually possible to get there, I came back, gave myself a little bit of time, but I was like, I don't know if they're going to do any more all-star seasons, but if they do, you better bet I'm going to be ready, because if I get this chance again, like this is how I win.
And was that first win the best challenge moment you've ever had? What's the highlight challenge moment for you of all time?
I mean, probably the first win.
Yeah.
You know, just it, I think actually all three of those finals, I did 3 finals in a year. All 3 of them were epic moments for me. Like just to, you know, for people to see where I was before, and even personally where I was before, and then coming back as the player and the person that I always knew I could be. I always knew I had it in me, right? But it just circumstantially, it wasn't my time. But once I finally did win, yeah, it was epic.
So last question, you're gonna be back. Is that a no-brainer now?
Yeah. So now that I kind of feel like I kind of conquered the whole All-Stars thing. I mean, I will, anytime they call me for All-Stars, I'm gonna be like, yes. But I feel like personally I wanted to like level up my competition, right? Like now that I feel like I have the confidence, hey, I have a win or 2 under my belt, like I want to see how I can fare against, you know, people in the main show. And so for me, I can't do the main show right now because it's so long, but opportunities like the Global Championship and USA give me that chance to film a shorter season, but still level up the competition. So if I'm asked, I mean, I can't end on this. I can't end on going home second, you know? So
well, Jonna, it was great to see you out.
End on a high.
You want to end on a high, and it was great to see
Yeah.
you out there. You're truly one of the challenge greats. I'm sorry we had to meet this early, but it was a pleasure to speak with you, and thanks for chatting with Gold Derby today.
Of course.